All right, we are live now. Made it work. You know, we're still in the new studio. It still takes a little bit of time to get it going, but we are live. My name is Borino. Lovely to have you. Welcome, rock stars. It's good to see you. We were on a little vacation, just a little trip, short trip. You know how you can't really travel these days much. So we just took a little car trip to West Virginia to this lovely little cabin by the river, and we had a good time. Man, it was nice. How are you guys? Are you ready to get some leads, to get some practical tips? We're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna do this in real time to show you how it works. Audio good, video good. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me okay? Give me some thumbs up. Let me know to make sure you can watch me. And we're gonna get started, all right? Nice to have you. Welcome everybody. Okie dokie. So here's what I want to go over with you today. We are in complicated times, you can say, right? We are in times when, let me move that camera a little. I am not happy with the angle. I need to look good. There you go, that's better. I'm running the cameras today, I'm running the show. Hope you like it, hope I don't mess up. Cappuccino with Borino is on. So we are in these difficult, interesting, challenging, kind of shitty, kind of difficult, kind of fun, kind of weird times, right? We have kind of adapted, ooh, that's good. We have kind of adapted to this whole coronavirus by now. Realize that this is the way it's going to be for a while. And how do we not just survive, but thrive? So on my way home, I've been kind of going in my head over my notes. What can I give you? What can I teach you today? What can I inspire you with practical stuff that will help you connect with more people, make money? And regardless of the circumstances and the craziness exploding outside, you still make money, run a good business, are happy. Good morning, Jeremy. Good to see you. Rolinda, nice to have you. Welcome. So what can I give you? So I thought, let me put myself in the shoes of an agent. Not average agent. It needs to be a rock star agent, good agent. What would I do under these circumstances, not with a huge budget, with a very little, almost no money? I don't want to spend a lot of money on some shady leads on the internet that, you know, is just some person who maybe filled out a form sometime in the past, maybe. I don't want to spend $1,000 on a direct mail campaign that may and may not result in some inbound calls. I want to do something that will give me predictable results. I want to do something that will not take 6 to 12 months to convert for me to get paid. I want something that brings rapid results, it's pretty predictable, that I can do without complicated systems, without army of teams behind me. You know what I mean? Just by myself, get it done now. So what would I do? So let me walk you through what I would do, my process. And I will share the screen with you. Bear with me. This will be in real time. This is not like a setup video or anything. We're coming to you live. So the first thing I would do, before I jump on the computer, before I do anything else, I would set an intention. And I know this is like, California, here he goes again, airy-fairy bullshit visualization. But I really would set an intention. I would say, call it a prayer, visualization, meditation, whatever word resonates with you. But before I would reach out to people, I would set an intention. I want to help, I want to serve. Yes, I want to get paid, I want to get rewarded for my efforts. But I want to find people who need my help, who I click with, who I connect with. I want to find people who are either in the process or need to enter the process now. I want easy, nice, motivated clients. I want people who appreciate my help, people who understand the quality of the work I can deliver to them, and people who will be pleased that I reached out to them, that we can connect. I can assist them, maybe send me a referral, but definitely it will be a pleasant interaction nevertheless. I'll be curious who I connect with because I know there are plenty of people out there. There's plenty of business. There are plenty of commissions waiting there for me. I just need to go out and reach out. So that'll be my short little intention. Second thing I would do is a little warm up, little practice, just like an athlete does, just like musicians, rock stars do, everybody does. I would just warm up. Make sure when I do communicate with these folks, I'm on my A game, and that's important. And that's why I teach the boot camp. That's why you should, if you haven't signed up yet, let me just show you quickly the URL, and then we can continue. But go to goborino.com/confidence. Check it out. There's a little video plus a description what you're going to get. We're starting next week. So if you're still on the fence, go check it out. I think you will enjoy it. goborino.com/confidence. So I would be in my good game. I would find the dialogue cards, which by the way come with the bootcamp. This is part of the core influence that is all about communication. I would just warm up, get in a good place, remember what to say so I don't stutter, I don't get stuck, I don't feel insecure, hesitant, or scripted. And then I would say, okay, where can I find somebody who is in the selling process right now? I am not interested in buyers. I don't want to be one of the 15 agents submitting offers and hoping that it's going to work, or getting knocked out because my buyer got cheap and lowballed the property by $5,000. I don't want to spend weekend after weekend driving around hoping to find them the right house in this crazy market. That's not where the money is. The money is in listings. So I would go find some listings. Now, I teach you a lot of systems. I teach you a lot of strategies, old expireds, new expireds. Today, I'm going to show you what I would do. Really, this is what I would do. And this is how I would go about it. Your numbers, of course, will be different. Your results vary. I can't promise you any results, but let me share with you the process, okay? Tell me if you like this. So I'm going to turn the screen share on. Hold on just a second. Let me set this up real quick. Screen capture. New one. Add. Yes. And we're going to go Window, Configure, Safari. All right. So what you see on your screen right now is our good friend Zillow. And I just did a little search in my area. So take a look. This is just my area. Again, your numbers will be different, but I would be surprised if they were widely different. It's going to be about the same. So I'm going to Zillow. I put my zip code in, and then I narrow down my search. I'm going to turn off everything by agent. I'm only going to keep by owner. See it here? I check this off. I turn off new construction. Coming soon auction, foreclosure, foreclosed, pre-foreclosure, turn all of that off. So in my area right now, there are 95 for sale by owners listed. That's not bad. I got something to work with. That's 95 potential listings. Now, I have something they don't have. I have something they don't have. I have statistics. I know how this is going to pan out. Now, again, your numbers will be slightly different, but not by a whole lot. I interviewed recently a CEO of a large company, one of the largest FSBO companies, called FSBR. It's a website where FSBOs go. They have a free package, paid package. Out of 93,000 for sale by owners that they've tracked over the last, I think, 3 or 4 years, 70% list with an agent. That's a very good number. Those are good odds. I'll take that. Imagine you're in Las Vegas sitting in front of the slot machine. I don't gamble, but I would take this gamble. You put $1 in, and 7 out of 10 times you win. Those would be good odds, right? I'll take that. So if I have 95 for sale by owners in my area, statistically, that's about 70 listings. 70% will end up being listings, more or less. That's a good start, right? Do you agree? So here's what we do next. Going back. So now I have my list. So I scanned through it real quick. 3 days. Here's an open house. Not bad. I'll take that, $749. So let's take a look at it. I'll show you a couple of examples how we go about it. So here we are, $749,000. That's a decent, clean listing. I'll scroll down, read a little bit of a description here. All right. Please note that we provide 2% commission for the buyer's agent. Yay! I like that. So that's option number 1. This is a motivated seller who understands how the market works. They're willing to pay. Perfect. I love it. So now how do I get in touch with them? Keep scrolling down. Sometimes there's a phone number. Sometimes they list an email. Sometimes I just fill out the form. And here it is. Get more information. So I would put my name here, my phone number, email, and a short message. Hey, I love the house. Looks really nice and clean. I see that you're cooperating with agents. Please reach out to me. That's it. I want to start a conversation. That's my objective number 1. And this is important, guys. I'm not there to list a house yet. I don't even know whether they're motivated. I don't know anything about the property, the seller, the situation. I don't know anything. So to say, well, I'm here to list a house, you're not. One step at a time. What is the first step? I need to find out about them, their motivation, their situation. So step 1, I would fill out this little form. Now, sometimes you have their name, sometimes you have a phone number, whatever is there, I would use to reach out. So now back to the numbers. Remember, I have 95 of those. So I would just go down the list. I would not be picky. I would not do too much screening. Just go straight down and fill out that little form. Now, I may hit something like this. Okay, reading, lots of description. Important realtors, look at this. Please do not contact me for a listing. Now, what do we do here? I don't want to get in hot water, don't want to get in trouble. But remember what I said. Is there a contact information? Just a form. Okay. So hear me on this. This is important, guys. The moment you see that comment there, what do you think the majority of the agents will do? Back off. Why? Because they don't have a system, they don't have an approach, they don't master communication with these sellers. Remember what I said earlier, I have statistics. There's a 70% chance that this seller will end up listing with an agent. They just don't know it yet. They're still optimistic. Yes, there's a small chance that they're going to sell. 8 out of 100 transactions in the US last year were for sell by owners. Low number, lowest they've ever been. So they don't have a good chance. Maybe they will sell if it's really priced low or if it's a super high demand area, that's possible. But I'll take the odds. So here's what I would do. I would still reach out. And I would say, I notice you don't want to list the property, totally respect that. If I have a buyer, if an agent has a qualified buyer, do cooperate with agents. That's all I would say. I'm not there to list, but if I have a potential buyer, do cooperate with agents. Start the conversation. Reach out. What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen? Please don't contact me again. I told you I don't want to work and agent, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good luck. Anything I can do to help, fantastic. On to the next one. No big deal. What's the best that can happen? What is the most likely thing that's going to happen? Majority of these sellers understand that selling a house is complicated. It is difficult. It is challenging. It is challenging under normal circumstances. So now think about it. Selling a house is difficult with a good agent. Selling a house is stressful. Now, you put on top of it the COVID situation that we're in through right now. Wearing face masks just to talk. Showing property, following. They don't even know that there's protocol in place. Many of these sellers are not educated enough that there's a protocol in place how to show property. So you put another layer of complexity on top of it. They need help. Just many of them either pretend because they don't want to be bombarded by agents or really don't know what they're getting themselves into. Are you with me on this? So they need your help. They just don't know it yet. They're very optimistic at the beginning, thinking I'm going to save 7, 8, 10, like in my area, it's about $15,000, $20,000 on average commission. They need your help. But what they don't need is to be sold. What they don't need is scripts. What they don't need is to be convinced that selling on their own is stupid. They should list with an agent. That's what most agents do. That's why you need this. That's why you should come to the bootcamp, because I can train you, teach you, show you how you can convey this message without being needy, pushy, or arrogant. And you can. So going back to the list, I would go down the list and contact every single one of these. Go straight down the list, every single one. Either I call them, have a little conversation. I'm not another agent trying to list your house. Don't worry about it. I know you've been bombarded. Is your house still for sale? Are you asking $980,000? Is it a 4-bedroom? Looks really lovely. By the way, do cooperate with agents. So now, remember here, I have 95. So now let's assume, let's do some numbers. I'm itching to use the big board, the big ass board. So let's assume, got the camera here. There you go. All right. So we have 95 for sale by owners to work with. That's our initial, can you guys see it? Yes. Initial FSBO pool. And let's be conservative. And let's say half of those are not motivated, don't want to work with agents in disguise. I know there are some assholes who do that. You know, they pretend to be a seller just to generate leads. So let's add of those 95, half, I will engage in some kind of conversation. So let's say that's 45. Easy math. I'm not very good with that, so bear with me. So I have 45 potential leads. 45 potentials that one way or another we communicate with. That's a good start. Now I have 45 potential leads. Now let's assume that out of those 45, I go visit half. Again, I'm just being conservative. So let's say 20 turn into an actual leads that I will communicate with, follow up with, keep in touch. Weekly, little ping. Hey, wanted to let you know 2 listings popped on the area. One is 750,000, the other one is 867,000. I can send you some pictures if you'd like. Helpful communication, nurturing the connection. So out of those 20 potential leads, let's just say I will get 4 listing appointments. Why? Because I know statistics. 70% will interview agents, 70% end up listing. So 4 appointments. Is that possible? Yeah, that's possible. It's being conservative. You may be even better. And let's say my listing presentation really sucks. Mine doesn't. It's one of my strengths, but let's just say I get 1 listing. Can I do this every week? And that's weekly, not weekly. Is this doable? Or maybe twice a month. That's 2 listings. That's $30,000 in commissions. That's not that bad. You can do this. So what does it require? Make sure, and this is critical, guys, this is where most agents screw this up, and most agents will declare to you that this don't work, for sell by owners don't work, they're difficult, they're a pain in the ass. Here's why most agents crash and burn with this. Where they screw up is the first contact. Where they screw up is the initial conversation, the first few seconds of the initial conversations where the seller immediately reacts, another agent, another desperate agent trying to get me to list with them. And they're dead. That's where majority screw up. Now, I appreciate that some of those agents diligently try following up and try to be nice and helpful, but if the initial conversation is bust, the rest, there's no recovery. Think about it this way. Real estate is kind of like dating. You ever notice like 2 strangers have to meet, build relationship, build connection. They have to like each other. They have to trust each other. Hopefully. Isn't it like that? It's like dating. And then hopefully a relationship develops. If the initial conversation, in person or on the phone, the agent comes across as either, and there are 2 potential dangers. They come across as too low, needy, desperate, low status, like me, they're seeking approval, don't want to piss the seller off, don't want to say anything wrong, don't want to offend anyway. They're dead, because neediness equals weakness. Nobody wants to work with a weak agent because weakness is a sign of incompetence. Let me ask a question. Do you want your dentist to be weak, needy? Your CPA, your attorney, anyone who you pay some big chunk of money for their service? No, you want them to be confident, high standards. So the problem number 1 is they're come across. Now, you may not be those things, you just come across that way. That's why that first impression, first initial conversation is so important. The second problem is they come in too strong up here. Too strong. We all been to that seminar. It's funny, I saw, I'm not going to name any names, but it's a prominent real estate coach who was boasting that there were 1,400 people in the audience memorizing his scripts. And I'm thinking, do I really want to sound like thousands of other agents? No wonder the sellers say you all sound the same, you all say the same things. That's the last thing I want. I need to sound different. I need to be confident, I need to be conversational, but I also need to be in control, which is the goal, which is exactly where you want to be. It's this zone right here. You're high status, you're confident, you're in control. But you're so pleasant. You have empathy, you have compassion. You control the conversation, you're asking questions, and you decide when and how it's going to proceed. Are you going to see them? Maybe not. You decide, is this a good lead to follow up with? Is this a seller I'm interested to explore possibility of maybe working together down the road? Or is it somebody I don't want to deal with? You are in control. But you do it in a way that's pleasant for the seller because they're not being manipulated, they're not being tricked, they're not being recited some silly script. That is the secret to this and to the dollars that follow. That's the secret. That's why of all the things I teach, right? I teach you video, I teach you expired listings, I teach you for sell by owners and follow-up, referrals and all that thing. It is precisely knowing what to say and how to say it, what kind of mindsets to have, what kind of tonality, how the words themselves are only tip of the iceberg, how the actual communication happens way below surface, where they start noticing things about you. Do you really mean what you say? Do you stand behind your service? Are you confident enough? Can you get the job done? You see, they don't really care about things like years in a business. They don't really care about how many homes you sold. They really don't care how big your marketing plan is. They don't care about any of that. There's only one question they have. There's only one question you need to answer through the initial conversation, the first contact conversation, and then through follow-up, but it needs to be very consistent, and that is this. Are you their best choice? Or is there anybody out there who's better than you? Now, not cheaper. Hear me on this. Not cheaper. Only 3% of the sellers declare that commission is the most important factor when selecting an agent. Only 3%. Only out of 100, 3. That means out of these 95, maybe 2 or 3 will say, we're going to go with the cheapest. You don't have to be the cheapest. People don't care. They want the best. They don't want the cheapest. They want the best. The way you determine and declare and demonstrate that you're best is through your communication. Fancy marketing helps. Nice business card helps. Nice website helps. It all helps. But if you botch the communication, if you are in the zone of low or in the zone of too high, too strong, too energetic, too optimistic, too salesy, too much energy, too pushy, when you don't listen, you don't pay attention to the nuances of communication that happen way beyond words, where they say things through their eyes, through their body, through the tonality, through the pause, through the sigh, through shifting their eye focus from you. With you being an expert knowing that if they do this, that means something very different than if they do this. Do you know the difference? I will teach you. We're starting next week. You being able to determine just a little detail like this can give you tons of insight into their behavior, into what's driving their decision. But you can be here and you cannot be here. Now here's the insight, friends. We're just talking for sale by owners today. This applies to every single lead you've ever had. So it is not as much about your ability to generate leads. There are plenty of leads already. I showed you there are 95 just in my area, just one group. You need to master the ability because the communication to first sale by owner is different than, let's say, new expired listing. And it's very different than, let's say, referral, very different than old expired listing, very different than online lead, a Facebook ad. Those are all slightly different because their psychology is different, their expectations are different, their goals are different. I know, for example, and I'm okay with that, because I know statistics again. I'm boasting. I know very few statistics, but they're important. But I know that 95 of these sellers don't want to talk to an agent. See, I already know that. So to go in and expect they're going to like me from the get-go, they're going to be nice and kind and polite to me, would be stupid. Now, I might be many things, but I hope I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? So I know they don't want to talk to agents, so why not use it to your advantage as a pattern interrupt, as part of the conversation? I said, look, I know you don't want to talk to agents. I know everybody's trying to haunt you for the listing. I get that. But if I have a buyer, if I have somebody interested, what do we do? Do you want me to send them your way? Do you want to come with them? How are we going to make this happen? I'm here to serve. Money will follow. I get paid one way or another. I'm not worried about that. I'm here to help. Because I know that at some point, maybe you decide it's time for plan B. Who knows? We can sit down over a cup of coffee and talk. But that's come later. Give it a shot first. Because if you can't save the money, more power to you. That's a communication that nobody else uses. Now, guess what? Do you think this is some kind of magic ability I have? No, it's a skill. I use this over and over several times where it became my second nature. And people respond and resonate because suddenly I'm not pushing them, manipulating them, trying to sell them on anything. I'm having a conversation. Is this making sense to you guys? Is this helpful? Where you're going to get stuck, maybe a couple of things. One, you're going to get stuck on your drunken monkey where you start choosing and picking which property to contact. You're going to start skipping some because they may have some signs of something. Now, if there's something obviously wrong with the property or the seller, where it's clear this is an agent or it's clear you don't want that listing, sure, skip it. But I would just go right down the list because I know about half I will engage. Half of those become my follow-up leads. Second camera, switchy, switchy. We're doing multimedia for you. New board, yes? You know what I mean? I'm going to gun for 4 appointments. Maybe I'll get them, maybe I won't. But statistically, I know over the long run, this is about my average. And out of 4 listing appointments, about 1 will end up being a good listing. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you rather be a buyer's agent showing my listings? And being one of 5, 10, 15, 20 offers? Or would you rather play golf on the weekend, come in the office Monday, review the offers, knowing that you're going to get paid no matter what? Only 1 out of those poor schmucks working all weekend trying to sell your listing is going to get paid. You're going to get paid no matter what. What's better? Is this making all sense? Yes, it requires skill. But it doesn't require hundreds or thousands of dollars, doesn't require complicated systems. The only thing you really need is a CRM. And there's a whole bunch of them out there. Realty Juggler, iExact Contact, Lion Desk, all good systems. I just need to track these 20 leads right here. So I can keep track where we are, what we talked about last time, who are these sellers. Because as you're accumulating leads, your database will grow. That's a good problem to have. And I'm here to help you. So if you haven't watched that video, go to goborino.com/confidence. Do check it out because this is exactly what we're going to talk about. This is exactly what you're going to master. How to feel confident, feel in control. You're not going to be nervous. You're going to be confident. You're going to be You're going to actually enjoy interacting with people because there's no pressure. There's no resistance. You see, the moment I come in saying, look, I'm just here to help. I'm not here to convince you of anything. The resistance drops because they have nothing to push against. You with me? Then the second most important, what do I do as far as the follow-up? How do I get those appointments? Just by bugging them over and over is not going to get that. There needs to be certain structure in my communication. There are certain questions, and there's about 100 of them here, I need to ask throughout the process so I can determine their motivation, their desire, their core driving emotion, their timeline, their expectations. And in that process, I'm going to establish that I'm the authority. And again, you do that through language, you do that through communication. These days, where it's so limited and so hard to have face-to-face communication, where it's so difficult to just go meet people in person, it is even more critical for you to nail this, to get this down. But you can. Because I know a guy from Czechoslovakia who came to America many years ago, didn't speak barely any English, who mastered this stuff. So why couldn't you? If I learned all this, if I figured out the psychology, what makes people tick, how to influence them, how sometimes you can do simple things like body touch anchoring, where if I want to emphasize an important point or get their attention or bring them back to now, all I have to do is a little tap. Something simple as that. Or I have to, you notice how sometimes I do that in the coaching sessions or in my videos where I do this. It's easy, it's like that. These are all psychological triggers I deploy. And there's a whole bunch of them that, without manipulation, suddenly give you almost like a remote control, where you can control their emotions, their attention, their state. And if I can control somebody's state, where they go from grumpy and kind of resistant and cold and aloof, maybe a little angry, resistant, skeptical, and I can slowly work them up to hopeful, to pleasant, where we can have an open, warm conversation, I win them every single time, and you can too. Not magic, skill. Skill. It's just a skill. So some of the questions you start asking the for sale by owner. This is important. Throughout the conversation, mainly through the follow-up, I would start asking questions. How long have you been selling the property? How long has it been on the market? This is important to know. Because if they tell me 2 days, like some of those I see on Zillow, 2 days, their expectations to sell it on their own, their optimism will be really high. You know, that's like newlyweds. Yay, everything will be peachy-dory. Hunky-dory, peachy, everything will be peachy or hunky-dory. I get those two confused. I still say this is not a rocket surgery. So they're optimistic at the beginning. 2 weeks in, the reality sets in. If they're on the market for 30 days, they may have a problem. So I need to know that. So that's one of the questions I will ask. Second question I would ask in the conversation, of course, this is not an interrogation, but the second question I want to know is, what if it doesn't sell? What if all you're getting are these low balls from all kinds of investors and speculators who bought some get-rich-quick scheme? What's the plan B? Now, this is important to pay attention, because it's not just going to be words. They will disguise the words, especially if they know they're talking to a salesperson. I'm going to pay attention to their body language, their energy, because that will always give it away. I can read it very clearly, whether they're telling me we're going to talk to an agent or we're going to stay here. Those are two very different things, because now I can explore how motivated they are. What is their desire? What is the problem? Because remember, friends, you are a problem solver. That's what you do for a living. People have to have a problem that you can solve. That problem will be solved by selling a house and moving, or buying a house and moving. If they don't have a problem, if they can stay in that house for 2 more years, you don't have a lead, you don't have a problem, move on. Here's where it gets difficult and challenging. Many sellers, especially for sale by owners who've been exposed to people going through seminars and reciting the same scripts, have learned very quickly the fastest, easiest way to get rid of a salesperson is just tell them, we don't have to sell, we can stay here. And they become very good at it because they know that gets rid of agents very quickly. So you, as a master communicator, will start paying attention. How congruent their communication is their body language congruent with their words? Is the tonality congruent? And I'll show you during our bootcamp very easy ways to decipher where is the truth. Plus, you're going to learn one of the most important skills I can give you. And that is, you're going to make them feel so comfortable that they will not hesitate or mind telling you the truth. They will not be afraid to tell you the truth, because they will know you will not push them or manipulate them in something they don't want to do. You might help them discover what is it that they really want to do, which in some cases may be stay where you are, no point to sell. You have a beautiful house, you really don't need to sell it, don't want to sell it, it'd be a lateral move, might as well stay. And that's fine too. I would rather figure it out over a 15-minute conversation than a 3-month ordeal with an overpriced listing and a difficult seller and offers that don't get accepted. All a matter of skill. Asking the right questions. One of the good questions you can ask is, what is the hardest part about selling on your own? What concerns you the most? What worries you the most? Wouldn't you rather stay here? You guys have a beautiful house. You spend a lot of time, a lot of money here. It looks fantastic. Why not just keep it? This is a reversal. Those are good questions to ask. Plus, I know from neurobiology that their brain cannot help but lock in on my question and seek the answer. We're wired that way. So I use it to my advantage. That allows me to control the conversation, direction of the conversation, plus get answers I need, get information I need. Not to mention, what do you think they want more? A salesperson bombarding them with hundreds of statements and presentations and how fantastic they are, how many years they've been in the business and why for sale by owners lose money, they should list with an agent, and how doing the drone photography is so important these days and a 3D and all that. Or would they rather tell you about them? Do you think they would rather hear you talk for 10 minutes or be able to finally share with someone what is it that they really want? Think about it. Your job as a master communicator is set up circumstances where they feel confident and comfortable, where they feel your empathy, where they feel like this is not just a sales shtick, they're talking to somebody who's nice. That's where your skill comes in. Is that all helpful, guys? What do you say? Yeah? All right. So go to goborino.com/confidence. Do check it out. We'd love to have you in the class. Now, we're closing the registration tomorrow, not to create some kind of weird scarcity or anything, but because we need to send you this stuff. You're going to get the communication manual called The Core Influence, all kinds of cool psychological triggers, questions, tonalities, neuro-linguistic programming, influence strategies, plus these. These are your dialogue outlines. You know how I just demonstrated the quick conversation you have with FISBO? You'll be able to do the same thing. These will always help you stay on track, whether it's handling objections, setting up appointments, following up, first impressions, icebreakers, even a couple of buyer things, although buyers. But you know why? Some of these sellers, including these for sale by owners, will become buyers. So technically, you can actually get 4 commissions, theoretically, from one seller. You double on their property, that's happening a lot in my area because there's such a high demand. Is it in your area? It's about the same, right? And you're going to sell them something else. So why not be resourceful? All good communication. But it's not something you're going to master in 5 minutes. Now, you can go out there and talk to for sale by owners. That's one way to master it, although be ready that, like me, you may not be at your best. Now, I sucked, you know. The first conversations would make a good television show. That'd be very funny to watch. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Now, we can accelerate that. That's why the bootcamp is a 30-day program that combines the classes and practice, where you're going to implement. So it's like, if you want to learn how to swim, you're going to get a lesson, and then you're going to be in the water. So we're going to be in the water. There'll be times, three separate lessons, not lessons, but sessions, implementation sessions, where everything you've learned, we're going to practice in a very safe environment, where I demonstrate it to you, you're going to try it, you're going to botch it, which is fine, and we're going to correct it, fix it, until you're confident, you're comfortable, you're ready to rock and roll. So it's a good class. Come join us. goborino.com/confidence. We'd love to have you. By the way, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. I'm just going to post a link here. Do check it out. So that's how I would do it, my friends. That's how I would get around 40, 45 potential leads. Now, here's the good news. These replenish. In other words, there'll be more tomorrow, and there'll be more the day after, and more next week. All you have to do is get them in your process, master these skills, put them on a CRM so you can keep in touch with them every 4 to 7 days, offer some cool, helpful stuff, give them some information, answer their questions. Because at the end, ask yourself this. Out of these 95 for sale by owners currently trying to sell, how do you think they will go about selecting their agent? What do you think would be their process? At the end, almost every single one of them will pick an agent they like, trust, and respect the most. Someone who's been cool and helpful, someone who has not been manipulating them, pushing them, criticizing them. That's why I so don't like that approach where from the get-go, agents try to show and demonstrate and tell the seller, it's a dumb idea. You should be listed. You're going to get more money. Because what that message does, not that it's wrong, that message is correct. Most sellers end up with more money by listing. That's why everybody lists with an agent. It's not a coincidence. Otherwise, you and I wouldn't be here today. But what they're hearing in that message is, you're wrong. What you're doing is stupid. You're wrong. You should be doing what I tell you instead so I can get paid. That's the message they're hearing. So you got to adapt. Instead of telling them you're wrong, you tell them, good for you. If you can save the money, absolutely you should. More power to you. And if I can help you in any way, please let me know. Now notice, I mean it sincerely. This is not a ploy. Because I question sometimes from you guys saying, well, Borino, but what if they do sell on their own? Yes, some will. Some will. That's part of those statistics I know. But I also know that 7 out of 10 will not sell on their own. 7 out of 10 will interview agents. Now, will they pick an agent who's pushy, arrogant, scripted, aggressive, or who is needy, low status, or agent who's been cool throughout the process, who patiently follows up offering helpful advice? I know one more statistics that will help you. 82, let me write this down for you. 82%, can you guys see it? Here it is. 82% of sellers contact 2 agents. Once you master this, majority of the agents will be discarded right from the beginning. Once you master this, once you get good at this, you will have almost no competition. 82% of the sellers contact 2 agents. Majority of the sellers don't have time, desire to talk to a lot of agents. They don't want to. They don't need to. Because through this process, through the process of communication, good first impression plus persistent follow-up, they already made up their mind. And they reach a point where they say, we're getting lowball offers, we're getting all kinds of flakes, we're getting people who don't even show up. Fuck that. Let's call. Who do you think I'm gonna call? Ghostbusters! I had to do it, I'm sorry. 82% of the sellers contact 2 agents. So a 50% chance of getting that listing just by keeping in touch, being cool, using certain communication skills that I'm gonna teach you. It's easy breezy. You can totally do this, right? All right, what do you say? Richard! Richard has a good question. Let's show Richard's question. Here you go. Richard would like to know, what is the cost of the class? Good question, Richard. So let's talk about the cost. It's not a cost, it's an investment. Cost is for coffee. Investment is something you invest in yourself and in your business. So normally my boot camps are from $1,500, from $997 to $1,500. But because we are in the middle of this craziness, we figured we need to make it affordable. Because I understand these are challenging times. So it's only $297. With that, you go to get a program, Core Influence, that's $297. This sells. Right now you can buy it. Go to topconfidence.com. You get this plus a set of videos. So if you want to study at your own pace, you want to expand, you want to get these cards, that's all part of it. That's coming free. They're going to get a program called the Mind Matrix Plus. And this is an audio program. And the reason I originally developed it is for myself. Early on, as many of you guys probably, I questioned my ability to succeed. I was worried about money. Am I good enough? There was a lot of competition. I had all these beliefs, these limiting beliefs. I had issues with money's hard to come by. That was one of my core programming. And I had all this drunken monkey chatter that was blocking my success. And then I discovered that it is subconscious mind that governs a lot of my behavior, my emotions, my thoughts, and consequently my actions. That was keeping me broke. So I started studying, how do you reprogram subconscious mind? How do you get rid of these limiting beliefs, these thoughts, this drunken monkey chatter that Buddha called the chat of 1,000 drunken monkeys? How do you make that voice be your partner rather than your biggest critic, telling you that it's impossible to make money or succeed? So one of the things I discovered is hypnotic audio. Just like it's a combination of hypnosis, visualization, meditation, and 3D audio with some music. But there was nothing specifically for real estate. There were programs out there, but not tailored to what I wanted. So I recorded my own. And then a friend of mine asked for it, and their friend asked for it. This is really great. This is working fantastic. Can I have a copy? And next thing you know, in the studio, I'm thinking, well, if this works so well, worked for me, it's going to work for you guys. So we turned it into a professionally produced program. You get 5 tracks, 5 audio tracks, about 15, 20 minutes each. You just listen to in the evening. Just like we program ourselves with stuff like money's hard to come by, which is what I had for a very long time, and guess what? Money was hard to come by. You can undo it. By repetition, feeding images, sounds, words, visualizations, you can undo all that and feel confident and live in abundance and feel good, feel strong and powerful and wealthy and prosperous. So that comes with it. It's a $147 program, part of the package. You also get the implementation sessions where we'll work together. It's going to be fun role-playing sessions where you and I will get on Zoom and we'll get to work together and try different questions and maybe botch it a little, we'll tweak it. We also work on your strengths because I'm sure there's plenty you're doing well, you already got down. So we'll strengthen those. So by the time you're done, by the 30 days are up, I want you to be in a completely different league, completely different level. Now, this is not just a promise or a sales pitch for the boot camp. I guarantee it. We have a guarantee. It's a 100% money-back guarantee. Take the boot camp with us, get the materials from us. We're going to ship it to you, priority, so you have it before we start on Wednesday next week. It's only $297. Take the program. You have 30 days. From the time you click the buy button, you have 30 days. Review all these, check everything out, come do the classes. And if you feel like, not my thing, don't like it very much, or it did not get me the results I was looking for, quick email, quick phone call, reach out to us, let us know, full refund goes your way. That's how confident I am. I'm really very confident. I've taught thousands of people this stuff. This worked for me, worked for thousands of my students. It's something I can teach you. It's a skill. There's no magic to it. And it is an essential skill. Because no matter where your business comes from, there comes a point where you have to have a conversation. You have to qualify. You have to establish your authority. You have to determine what is their motivation, what is their urgency, what are the expectations. You have to know who you're dealing with, and they need to feel confident and comfortable to tell you the truth. You need to know how to overcome some of the objections. Now, we're not going to do the typical objection handlers. That's a bad idea. I'm going to show you a very different approach, a psychological approach, where you understand their neurobiology, their psychology, and their fears that they're dealing with. All the way to a listing appointment. I'll walk you through follow-up. I'll walk you through the very typical things like, well, just send us a card. We don't know what we're going to do. We already have an agent. How much do you charge? Oh, there's an agent who's going to do it for less. All these are very often just smokes and mirrors, trying to decipher your integrity. Are you their best choice? Because remember, I know statistics. Only 3% of the sellers really care about the commission. So there's another reason why they say these things. And if I know that, instead of reacting, I can respond. And I'll teach you exactly how to do all that. Is that helpful? So we'd love to have you in the class. It's going to be a great class, guys. This is the first time I'm going to teach it in this format, by the way. In the past, we would just send you these, make you watch some videos, and good luck. That worked, but I think this will be even more powerful. Está bien? All right, Sylvia has a question. How long is the program? Is it online? Great question, Sylvia. Yes. The program will be online. There'll be these private Zoom sessions. Each one is about 90 minutes, depending on how many questions I get. I like to have the classes very interactive. So you can ask me questions, you can make comments, and I stay on each session all the way till the end until every question is answered. So they're about 90 minutes. It's every Wednesday. We will have the actual classes. There'll be 4 of them. So you'll be done in 30 days. You'll be a communication rock star in 30 days, Sylvia. And then every Friday, we will have the implementation sessions, these role play practice implementation sessions where whatever we worked on and you learned in the class, you get to actually try. So we will pair up and you will role play, you will practice, we're going to watch you, we're going to comment, this is, you did well, this you need to do better, let's try again, or ask this instead, do this instead. So you get to kind of be playful about it because it's going to be safe. There is no angry seller and there is no $15,000 commission on the line in the implementation sessions. These sessions, of course, will be recorded, so if you want to watch the replay, they'll be posted in a library. You can access them later and check them out, okay? So yeah, we're starting next Wednesday and we'll be working together for a month. So come join us, goborino.com/confidence is the URL. All right, Danielle has a question. Let's see here. Here we go. Before it was easy to set an appointment with FISBOs and experts. What do you do now? Danielle, this is exactly what I would do now. And yes, it can be more challenging and people are more hesitant. There is more fear out there. That's why having a confident communication, knowing what is the safest, easiest, best way to do that is so important. That's where the money is right now. Because if you show them, or here's how we're going to do this is how you should show property, here's how we should do the preview appointment, this is the safest way to do it, and varies by area, by your state, by the governance. There are all these factors you need to have in mind. But think about this. Are they FISBOs in your area? Probably the answer is yes. Will these FISBOs end up listing with an agent? Again, majority will. Statistics. That means there are agents out there right now doing this. So the real question is, why not you? What's really stopping you? Now you can say maybe one of two things. I don't know what to do, or I don't know what to say. You already know what to do. Go on Zillow, reach out to them. As far as what to say, that's a little more complex. That's not something I can do in one line. That's why it takes 4 sessions of my bootcamp to actually teach you, send you these. But you can do it in 30 days. So imagine where you can be in 30 days being confident, knowing what questions to ask, knowing how to set up appointments. And if it means right now virtual appointments, everything we're going to talk about has to do with human psychology. That means it's perfectly transferable to like FaceTime, Skype, or Zoom. Because the principles don't change. The principles of human interaction, psychology, influence, and confidence are the same. Whether you're watching me on a live, or you were here in the class, or we were having coffee together, it's all the same. Make sense? You with me? So you may modify it slightly, but not a whole lot, because at the end, these people need to or really want to sell. You're the guy who can help them, Daniel. All right? Maria has a question. Is this the same price for current members? You mean if you're on the path? No. If you're on the path, you get $200 discount. For my students who are paid members of the path, it's only 97 bucks. So it's really affordable. All right, guys. So come join us. Come do the bootcamp with me. Give it a try. See what can happen. See what you can accomplish. The principles you're going to learn now. Of course, we're going to go way beyond for sell by owners. The communication principles, like the first lesson will be on psychology, your psychology, and a seller psychology, and to a great extent even buyer psychology. What's making you hold back? Why are you nervous picking up the phone in the first place? And I'll share with you some practical tips. I did some steps I took because just like you, I was really nervous. Talking to strangers did not come naturally to me at all. My first expired listing, this was in Whittier, California. I had my MLS printout in my hands. I was holding it like this. I was sitting in my car. I was looking at the printout. I was in front of the expired listing house. And I was shaking like this. I was scared shitless. And it took me over 20 minutes to get out of the car and go talk to the seller. It is not natural. Remember, here's where it comes from. Does this ring a bell? Stranger danger, stranger danger. We were programmed since we were little kids. Don't talk to strangers. Strangers, dangers. So to be able to pick up the phone or knock on somebody's door or get somebody on Zoom or whatever format you communicate with these strangers is a challenge at first. And if you don't overcome that challenge, it doesn't matter how fancy your prospecting, advertising, and marketing is. If you cannot confidently talk to these people, your business is in deep trouble. And if you're not financially where you are, I am here to tell you guys, I've been at this for over 20 years. I've been in real estate since 1786. I'm embarrassed to admit how long. I promise you, if I were to sit down with you for 15, 20 minutes and analyze your business, your marketing, your advertising, your follow-up, the tools you use, the systems you deploy, your listing presentation, and your communication, I am here to declare that without actually meeting you face-to-face, the first thing we would have to fix in order for you to reach the next level of your income is your communication. Because all these other systems and tools and processes you have in place depend on your ability to communicate. Why? For one simple reason. Real estate is still a people business. With the latest TikToks and Snapchats and social media, which I all love, I love gadgets. Jesus, I have, like what you're watching right now with these fancy cameras going back and forth and all that stuff. I love gadgets, I love tools, I love social media. You're watching this on social media, for crying out loud. You're still in the people business. These tools help you connect with people, find the right people and connect with them. How do you do that? Through communication. Why? Because you cannot list a house over a text. You need to communicate. phone, text, video, face-to-face, Zoom, all of that. And rock stars, without exception. And I had the privilege to train some like Mike Putnam, who's making $1.2 million a year as a real estate agent. I have students who went from 30 deals to 50 deals in a span of 8 months. And I had privilege, you saw the interviews with some of them. They're all over the place. They're men, women, they're Hispanic, they're white, they're this, they're that, they're old, young. They have one thing in common. They're great communicators. They make people feel comfortable talking to them. They know how to ask the right questions. They know how to talk to strangers. They have that skill down. I can teach you how to do that. Because I mastered 2 things. I mastered communication first, overcoming my fears, my insecurities, knowing what questions to, know what questions to never ask. Why you should never open a conversation with stuff like, how are you today? Never do that. Please don't do that. And in boot camp, I'll explain why. I mastered that stuff. Now, unfortunately, it took me a long time and cost me a lot of commissions, a lot of opportunities. The second thing I mastered is I can take someone that I've never met, an agent who's been in the business for, let's say, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, doesn't matter. What they need to have is only one thing, that's desire. Desire to get better, to help more people and make more money. You have that, the rest I can teach you. And I can teach you this process step by step. I broke it down into 4 separate classes, so it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels like you can do this. Why? Because you can. Czechoslovakia over here figured it out and did it. You can too. There's only one problem. You've been told the wrong things. You've been taught the wrong things. For example, you've been told practice makes perfect. Not true at all. Practice only makes permanent. If you're practicing the wrong thing, you're going to make the wrong thing permanent, which is what happened to me. I went to the seminar by a famous trainer, memorized the scripts, recited the scripts, went broke. So there's a better way. More comfortable too. It's more comfortable on you and on your prospects. But it takes a little bit of some right information, and then some practice. Okay, so good questions. All right. So Sylvia says, excited to learn psychology of these fizzballs. Sign up now. Perfect, Sylvia. Now remember, we're going to work way more than just for sold by owners. So you're going to master a whole bunch of cool conversations, although a big chunk will be for sold by owners. And Sylvia would like to know, this is a one-time fee? Correct. This is just one-time fee. $297 will get you in. We'll ship you the package. You will get the package from us. The core influence will come in the mail within the next few days. You're going to get videos. They're pretty cool. You can start watching them if you want. And our first session is on Wednesday. I think it's at noontime. All right. So that's, my friends, an invitation. Here it is again. GoBorino.com/confidence. Check it out. There's a little video plus a description of all the stuff you're going to get, plus the guarantee. All of that is there. Come join us. Ask yourself this. If I don't sign up for it today, I will save $297. Fair? Fair. If I don't sign up today, what is the real price I'm going to pay? And if I don't sign up today, but my competitor does, if one of my competitors learns this stuff, what will it really cost me? Opportunities? Enjoyment? Freedom? More than just money. You know, I learned the hard way again in most of my lessons that money will not solve your problems. Money will not solve your problems. Lack of money will emphasize your problems. Money will pretty much make your life better in every way. It is not the end goal. Definitely not. I know your end goal is not $250,000 in commissions or $500,000 in commissions. This is what it provides, the freedom for you, your family, your friends, people that you influence, immediate family, your children, your grandchildren, maybe your parents that you can take care of. Securing your future. Buy some investment properties. God knows there'll be some opportunities sooner or later, don't you think? That's what the money will give you. Being able to have these skills, being able to do this well, which you can. I'll prove to you. I mean, I'm putting the money on the line. Your risk is zero. Because if I don't succeed, if I fail you, all you're going to do is type an email saying, dude, I want my money back. Here it is. Nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. On contrary, if you don't sign up, imagine the opportunities you're going to lose. Imagine a year from now looking back and going, shit, I should have. I should have. You know what I regret the most in my life? Not the stuff I did and I failed. And God knows there have been some epic failures in my life. What I regret is stuff I didn't try. The class I should have taken and I didn't. The book I should have read and I didn't. The video I should have watched and I didn't. The interactions I missed. Or the opportunity to teach people like you. And I couldn't. Because you still run on the old programming thinking $297 is the real barrier. It's never. I'm reading a fascinating book. I'll post a link called The Big Leap. And in that book, the author, Dr. name escaped me now. Maybe you guys know. He says, it's never about the money. It's never about the money. It's about the programming. You have habitually programmed yourself that there's not enough. You got to watch every dollar. You're not worth it. You're not good enough. Friends, I'm here to tell you, and please, forget all the strategies and forget all the stuff we talked about. Take this away. You are good enough. You are worth it. There's plenty. I can show you how. These steps and strategies, I can give you plenty of those. And boy, God knows what you're going to get about a dozen amazing strategies, advanced communication strategies, just in lesson 2. But if you're going in thinking, I'm not good enough, there's not enough, it's too hard, money's hard to come by, this COVID situation makes my business, you're on the old patterns. We need to break those patterns. First, you need to come in thinking, up till this point it kind of sucked, and I give you that. I'm not pretending this is easy peasy. It is a challenge. But within that challenge is a phenomenal opportunity for you to grow, to learn, to expand, to become better, and to make a lot of money in the process. Because this crisis will make a lot of people wealthy. Because while the vast majority of the agents are scratching their heads going, well, how do I do this? What do? I better go get a cup of coffee and a sandwich instead of working. There's a small group, dedicated, focused, passionate. You guys. While others are out there right now having lunch and God knows goofing around on social media doing all kinds of bullshit stuff, you're here learning. You're here paying attention. You're here taking notes. And some of you, as we finish in just a moment, will jump on Zillow, reach out to some for sale by owners, and you'll be surprised how many will reach back and say, yeah, come on down. Let's talk. Yeah, I have some questions for you. What do you think about this? How would you do this? How would you do that? And then you're going to start getting IOIs. That's where the fun begins. IOI stands for indicator of interest. That's where the fun begins. And you're very close. My hardest job is not to teach you real estate or communication. My hardest job is to convince you, to show you, to sell you on the idea that there's plenty, there's money, there's opportunity, there are sellers out there. That's the hardest thing. Because once you buy into that, the rest is just executing certain steps, piece by piece, step by step. All right? All right, my friends, good session today. Really enjoyed it very much. Thank you for being here today. Go to goborino.com/confidence. I'll see you in the class. Until then, my name is Borino. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you real soon. Let's go and get some business. Bye, everybody.